Alright, we're back to Photoshop 3D. This time we're going to talk about texturing bump map. I'm going to start with a new file, 800 by 600 as usual. Hit OK. And I'm going to go to 3D, new shape from layer. I'm going to get a cylinder. So you see our background layer became a cylinder. If you want to have background in there as white and then add another one, you can actually create a new layer, call it cylinder, okay, and then go 3D, new shape from layer, because it takes the layer you're on and creates a shape cylinder. And now you're going to have cylinder and then top and bottom materials for textures. And right now I'm not interested in textures. I'm going to be creating bump maps. So I'm going to show you how the bump map works. I'm going to go to the brush, okay, go to 3D, 3D paint mode, bump. So with your brush, you've selected bump 3D paint mode, you're on this layer, the cylinder, gonna click on just one surface, whatever surface you want to apply the bump map to. So click, it's gonna ask you, hey, you don't have a material for that, do you want me to create a bump texture? You say, yeah, that would be great. And now it's asking you how big you want it. Well, we're not sure actually, because how do we know width and height for the bump texture? We know, however, that it should match our diffuse texture. So before we will do that, we'll go back and we'll look at the cylinder. 800 by 600. This one 1024 by 1024, and this one is 1024 by 1024. So we were right, but it's better to check than to have go back. Click again, same message, yes, make the texture map for us. 800 by 600 is beautiful. Alright, cylinder, material, bump, you can change the name, I'm going to leave it the same, and hit OK. And you will see right here it created a bump map for you. Double click on the bump map. Now here's how it works. You can get a brush and just paint stuff in, and we're a very low opacity. So paint the stuff in. This will be your stuff that's indented going in. Save it. I usually close it not to miss the link. And this is the bump. It is not gonna really build 3D. It's not gonna edit the object in 3D. What it merely does is just changes how the light applies to the object. And here it is. Okay. So the light is falling on the bumps and it casts shadows and has highlights. So we're going to use that to our advantage. We can have a beat up cylinder like that, or we can actually work a little bit more first with the texture map as you go into the texture map here. And to start with texturing, we'll probably throw in filter, noise, add noise, and then filter, blur, motion blur, and we're gonna do that, and I'm gonna duplicate the layer, move it a little bit this way, move this one a little bit this way, and I'm gonna erase part of this layer so they kind of merge together with a soft eraser. Now that they're together, I have merged them into one layer. I'm gonna also put in some band around one, and I'll drag that, shift drag that, I'm sorry. Put that here, make another one, and those could be also textured with pattern overlay. Select your texture here. That looks interesting. That looks quite interesting. So I selected that. I'm gonna hit also OK here. Before then, I'm gonna have inner shadow, and I'm gonna have bevel and emboss. Okay, gonna give it some 3D look. we can have drop shadow, but we're not really going to need it. So I'm happy with what I have here. You can increase the depth of the thing and the size of the bevel and emboss. I'm just going to hit OK. And here we have our texture map. I'm going to Control A, Control Shift C to copy everything that I see, okay? It copies a flattened version of the file. You're going to save the file and close it. This is the file. Notice the bump map is still the old bump map that we made. We're going to work with the bump map now. Go back in there, Control Shift B or Control V could work too. That's for the map. This is diffuse map texture. And we're going to use that as a guide to where we're going to put stuff in here. I want these things to pop out. So I'm going to color them white. And the second one is going to be white. This actually is pretty cool that it's already dark. I can even darken it a little bit. And let's put in more dark colors so that the white pops out. Okay, and this will go in a little bit like that. We'll have that texture to our object. Here, that's pretty good. And one thing left that we can do is give it a little bit of a gradient if you want, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I'm going to gradient this. I'll gradient one of them actually, like that, so you'll see what's going on. There, that's what I was looking for it to gradually come out and go in. So one is going to be flat, just the bump is flat. This one gradually comes at you and it goes away. And we're going to delete this layer here so that we can see that one is gradual and another one is not. Save that, close that, and we are back on the barrel here, and then zoom in. And as you can see, this one is curved bump map where the light kind of travels, and this one's more of a flat bump map. So you choose which one you want. Okay, and you can add grays. So black pushes it in, and white pushes it out. So that is the bump map tutorial. You can also add bump maps to your bottom and top materials, and that is going to be done the same exact way we just did that. So please let me know what else you want to be covered in these tutorials, and thank you.